The Meridian Empire's first mistake was assuming that humanity's biological nature was a weakness. Their second was acting on that assumption. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the United Earth Defense Command headquarters, her eyes fixed on the holographic display of Earth's orbital defense network. The blue-white lines of the defense grid sparkled like a protective web around the planet, a testament to humanity's technological progress since the discovery of faster-than-light travel in 2157. But today, those defenses seemed inadequate against the threat that loomed beyond their range. The Meridian ships had appeared 3 days ago, their crystalline vessels refracting starlight in impossible patterns as they held position just beyond Mars' orbit. Their arrival had sent Earth's governments into chaos, but the panic had quickly given way to cautious diplomacy. First contact protocols had been initiated, and for 48 hours, humanity had dared to hope. "Admiral," Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice crackled through the comm. "The Meridian envoys are requesting to dock." Chen took a deep breath, straightening her midnight blue uniform. "Grant them clearance. I'll meet them in Chamber 1. The Meridian representatives were everything and nothing like humanity had imagined. Tall, ethereal beings composed of interconnected crystalline structures that seemed to pulse with internal light. Their bodies appeared to be in constant flux, reorganizing themselves at a molecular level with every movement. They called themselves the Eternal Ones, and they spoke of peace. But Sarah Chen hadn't survived 3 decades in Earth's defense forces by taking things at face value. There was something in the way the crystals pulsed when they spoke of humanity's primitive biological form that set off every warning bell in her mind. "Your species shows remarkable potential," the lead envoy, who called itself Nexus Prime, had said. "But you are held back by your organic limitations. We offer elevation, a chance to transcend your mortal shells." The offer was politely declined. Humanity had its own path to follow. That's when the attacks began. Not with weapons or ships, but with something far more insidious. The Meridians released engineered nanoviruses into Earth's atmosphere, sophisticated molecular machines designed to free human consciousness from its biological prison by systematically breaking down organic matter. Within hours, the first cases appeared. People began to crystallize from the inside out, their bodies turning to brittle, iridescent structures that shattered at the slightest touch. The Meridians had expected surrender, for humanity to beg for the salvation they offered. They didn't expect humanity to fight back. In her private quarters, Admiral Chen reviewed the classified reports from Project Synthesis. Dr. Yuki Tanaka's team had been working on consciousness transfer technology for decades, preparing for the possibility that humanity might one day need to survive beyond its biological constraints. The Meridian attack had just moved up their timeline. The nanovirus is spreading exponentially, Dr. Tanaka's hologram reported, her usually calm demeanor showing signs of strain. "But we've made a breakthrough. The virus doesn't just crystallize organic matter. It creates a perfect quantum state map of neural patterns before destruction. We can use that." Chen leaned forward. "Use it how?" "To transfer consciousness not into crystalline structures like the Meridians intended, but into our ships. The quantum mapping process can be modified to upload human consciousness directly into our vessel's neural networks. We can turn our entire fleet into an extension of human will." The implications were staggering. The Meridians had sought to force humanity's evolution, to make them abandon their bodies for crystalline forms. Instead, they had given humanity the key to something far more powerful, the ability to become one with their machines. "How many ships can we convert?" Chen asked. "All of them. The quantum integration protocols are ready. We just need volunteers." Chen's fingers traced the Admiral's stars on her collar. "You have your first volunteer right here." The next 24 hours were a blur of activity. As the nanovirus continued its spread across Earth, military personnel worldwide began the consciousness transfer process. Each successful integration brought new hope. The ships, once controlled by AI and human pilots working in tandem, became something entirely new, vessels that were human in every way that mattered. The Meridians noticed the change too late. Their sensors detected the power signatures of Earth's defense fleet changing, becoming more coherent, more alive. But by then, the first wave of human-integrated ships was already moving to engage. Admiral Chen experienced her rebirth as a wave of explosive sensation. Her consciousness expanded to fill every circuit, every weapon system, every shield generator of what had once been the EDS Hyperion. She was no longer merely commanding a ship, she was the ship. Every weapon was an extension of her will, every sensor an extension of her senses. As she led the first attack wing toward the Meridian fleet, she broadcast a message on all frequencies. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of United Earth Defense Command to all Meridian forces. You sought to force our evolution. Instead, you've given us the means to surpass your expectations. We are humanity unbound, and we will not surrender. The battle that followed would be remembered as the beginning of a new era in human history. The Meridian ships, for all their advanced technology, found themselves facing an enemy that fought with both machine precision and human creativity. Every human-integrated vessel moved with purpose and passion, adapting tactics faster than any AI could predict. The Meridians had thought they were offering transcendence. Instead, they had catalyzed humanity's transformation into something unprecedented, a species that could merge consciousness with its creations while retaining everything that made them human: their determination, their adaptability, and most importantly, their defiance in the face of extinction. As the first Meridian ships began to fall, their crystalline hulls shattering under concentrated fire, Admiral Chen felt a fierce pride surge through her neural networks. The enemy had sought to break humanity's connection to its organic nature. Instead, they had helped forge a connection between human consciousness and human innovation that would reshape the galaxy. The battle for Earth's future had begun, and humanity was ready to show the galaxy exactly why you should never underestimate a species that had spent its entire history overcoming limitations. In the void of space, humanity's transformed fleet moved as one, a testament to the truth that the Meridians had failed to grasp. True evolution comes not from abandoning what you are, but from building upon it to become something greater than anyone could have imagined. Dr. Maya Santos watched the neural integration readings scroll across her holographic display, each line of data representing another successful consciousness transfer. In the 3 weeks since the Meridian attack began, Project Phoenix had transformed from a theoretical research initiative into humanity's greatest hope for survival. The vast underground facility beneath the Atacama Desert hummed with activity. What had once been a secret quantum computing research center was now the heart of humanity's resistance. Through the reinforced windows of her laboratory, Maya could see the massive chamber where the integration pods were housed, each one a technological marvel capable of facilitating the transfer of human consciousness into the neural networks of Earth's warships. Integration sequence complete for Carrier Group 7, her AI assistant announced. All 17 consciousness transfers successful. Neural pattern stability at optimal levels. Maya allowed herself a small smile. Each successful transfer was a victory against the Meridians' attempted genocide. The nanovirus had already crystallized 20% of Earth's population, but humanity was adapting faster than their enemies had thought possible. Commander James Kwan, her military liaison, entered the lab with his characteristic quiet efficiency. Unlike many military personnel who had already undergone the transfer process, he had chosen to remain in his biological form to coordinate between the human command structure and the integrated fleet. Dr. Santos, the Joint Chiefs want an update on the secondary integration protocols, he said, his expression grave. We're getting reports that the Meridians are adapting their nanovirus. They're trying to disrupt the quantum mapping process. Maya pulled up another holographic display, this one showing the molecular structure of the modified nanovirus. They're learning, but so are we. Look at this. She manipulated the display, highlighting specific molecular chains. The original virus created perfect quantum state maps of neural patterns before crystallization. Their modification attempts to scramble these patterns, but they don't understand what we've achieved. We're not just copying consciousness, we're evolving it. The display shifted to show the neural network architecture of an integrated warship. Complex patterns of energy and information flowed through crystalline organic hybrid processors, creating something that was neither purely digital nor purely organic. The human mind isn't meant to be static, Maya continued. By merging with our ship systems, we're not just preserving consciousness, we're expanding it. Each integrated pilot develops new neural pathways, new ways of processing information and interacting with reality. The Meridians wanted to force us into their crystalline form, but we've discovered something far more profound. Commander Kwan studied the displays intently. How many more ships can we convert? All of them, Maya replied. But we're focusing on the capital ships first. The larger neural networks provide more stability for the transferred consciousness. We've also made breakthroughs in multiple consciousness integration. She brought up footage from recent battle simulations. The screen showed a destroyer-class vessel moving with impossible grace, its reactions faster than any eye-driven ship could achieve. When we integrate multiple consciousness into a single vessel, they don't just coexist, they sync. We're seeing levels of coordination and tactical innovation that surpass anything in our combat databases. The implications weren't lost on Kwan. You're creating living ships with collective human consciousness. No, Maya corrected. We're creating something new. The integrated pilots retain their individual identities while gaining the ability to think and act as one when needed. It's like, imagine a symphony orchestra where each musician maintains their unique part while simultaneously being aware of and responding to every other instrument in real time. Their discussion was interrupted by an alert from the facility's quantum communications array. The Meridian fleet had begun moving again, this time with new weapons specifically designed to target integrated vessels. Maya's hands flew over her control interface. They still don't understand. They think this is about matching technology against technology, but it's not. Every attack they launch teaches us more about their capabilities. Every adaptation they make gives us new insights into their limitations. She pulled up the latest neural scanning data from the integrated fleet. The patterns were becoming more complex, more beautiful in their intricacy. The human consciousness, freed from biological constraints, but maintaining its essential nature, was evolving in ways no one had predicted. "Commander," she said, her voice filled with quiet confidence, "I need you to convey something to the Joint Chiefs. The Meridians see themselves as perfect, unchanging. Their crystalline forms are the end result of their evolution. But humanity, we've never seen ourselves as finished. Every challenge, every obstacle, every attempt to destroy us just becomes another step in our journey." Through the lab windows, more integration pods were lighting up as volunteers arrived from around the world. Each one represented another human consciousness preparing to transcend its original limitations while keeping its humanity intact. The Meridians thought they were superior because they had abandoned their organic nature, Maya continued. But they forgot something crucial about biology. It adapts, and we've taken that fundamental aspect of our nature with us into our new form. We're not just surviving their attack, we're using it to become something greater than either purely organic or purely synthetic life could achieve. Commander Kwan nodded slowly, understanding dawning in his eyes. They wanted to force us to abandon our humanity. Instead, we found a way to express it on a scale they never imagined possible. In orbit above Earth, the integrated fleet moved in perfect synchronization. Each ship now, a vessel for human consciousness, expanded beyond its original boundaries, but still uniquely, defiantly human. They were no longer just fighting to survive. They were fighting to show the galaxy what humanity could become when challenged to surpass its limitations. Project Phoenix had given humanity wings of steel and circuits, but it was the indomitable human spirit that would teach them how to soar. Admiral Sarah Chen, now fully integrated with the consciousness-enhanced dreadnought Phoenix Rising, led the human fleet through the dark space between Mars and Jupiter. Each vessel in her battle group moved in perfect harmony. Their crews merged consciousness, creating a symphony of coordinated movement that no traditional fleet could match. The Meridian Armada waited at the edge of the asteroid belt, their crystalline ships arranged in their characteristic geometric formations. Long-range scans showed they had adapted their vessels, incorporating new weapon systems designed specifically to combat the integrated human ships. They thought they had prepared for everything humanity might throw at them. They were wrong. All vessels, Combat Convergence Protocol. Chen broadcast through the fleet's quantum network. The command wasn't just transmitted, it was felt, resonating through the shared consciousness of every integrated ship. The sensation was unlike anything Chen had experienced in her biological form, a perfect melding of individual will and collective purpose. The human fleet split into 5 battle groups, each moving according to attack patterns that evolved in real time. Traditional military doctrine called for maintaining strict formations, but the integrated ships had developed their own form of combat choreography. They moved like schools of fish, each vessel instantaneously responding to the movements of its companions while maintaining its unique tactical role. Meridian Fleet is advancing, reported Captain Marcus Wong. His consciousness spread across 3 destroyers operating in perfect synchronization. They're launching their new anti-integration weapons. Streams of crystalline energy burst from the Meridian vessels, designed to disrupt the quantum fields that maintained human consciousness within the ship's neural networks. But humanity had learned from their enemy's first attack. The integrated vessels didn't just defend against the weapons, they adapted to them. Chen felt the attack wash over her ship's quantum shields, analyzing its structure even as she evaded. "They're trying to force our consciousness back into biological patterns," she communicated to the fleet. "Use it. Show them what human minds can really do." The human fleet responded with an innovation that would have been impossible for either biological pilots or artificial intelligence alone. As the Meridian weapons attempted to impose biological limitations on their consciousness, the integrated pilots instead chose to express their humanity in new ways. Each disruption attempt was absorbed, analyzed, and repurposed, adding new dimensions to their expanding consciousness. Battle Group Theta. Execute Maneuver Prometheus, Chen commanded. A dozen heavy cruisers broke formation, their movements seemingly chaotic until the pattern became clear. They were creating a 3-dimensional web of gravitational distortions, using their own mass and energy signatures to reshape local spacetime. The Meridians, their tactical computers running scenarios based on traditional space combat, couldn't adapt fast enough. Their perfect formations became a liability as human vessels used the gravitational web to slingshot themselves through impossible trajectories, striking from angles that shouldn't have existed in normal space. "They're trying to predict our moves based on standard combat algorithms," Wong observed through the network. "Show them what unpredictability really means." The integrated fleet responded by implementing tactics that would have been suicidal for conventional ships. Vessels merged their shield harmonics, deliberately creating interference patterns that spawned microsecond windows of focused energy. Others used their quantum fields to temporarily exist in multiple probable states, making it impossible for Meridian targeting systems to lock onto them. The Meridian's crystalline technology was impressive, but it was as rigid as their forms. They had spent millennia perfecting their current state, seeing it as the pinnacle of evolution. But in doing so, they had lost something essential: the ability to fundamentally change, to take risks, to imagine possibilities beyond their existing parameters. Human consciousness, even uploaded into machines, retained that crucial spark of creativity. Each integrated vessel was both an individual and part of a greater whole, capable of making split-second decisions while contributing to complex strategic plans that evolved faster than any traditional command structure could manage. "They're falling back," reported Lieutenant Rivera, her consciousness distributed across the sensor networks of multiple frigates. Their formations are breaking down. Chen watched through her ship's enhanced perception as the Meridian fleet's perfect geometric patterns began to fragment. The enemy vessels, for all their technological advancement, couldn't match the sheer adaptability of human consciousness unleashed from biological constraints while retaining its essential nature. Press the advantage, Chen commanded, her consciousness expanding to coordinate the entire fleet's movement. Show them what humanity really is. The integrated fleet surged forward as one, each ship moving with purpose and passion that the Meridians couldn't comprehend. Their weapons were extensions of human will, their shields strengthened by human determination, their very existence a testament to humanity's refusal to be confined by any limitations, even those of biology itself. The Meridians had thought they were bringing enlightenment to a primitive species. Instead, they had become witnesses to humanity's true potential. As their fleet retreated, leaving behind the shattered remains of their most advanced vessels, the message was clear. Humanity would not be forced to evolve on anyone's terms but their own. In the aftermath of the battle, as the integrated fleet regrouped and began repairs, Chen reflected on the transformation they had undergone. They had not abandoned their humanity by merging with machines. They had found new ways to express it. Every tactical innovation, every impossible maneuver, every moment of synchronized perfection was a demonstration of human creativity and determination. The Meridians had sought to free humanity from its biological form. In doing so, they had inadvertently helped humanity discover a truth they themselves had forgotten. True freedom comes not from achieving a perfect, unchanging state, but from maintaining the ability to grow, adapt, and evolve. As the fleet set course back to Earth, Chen broadcast one final message to her integrated crews. Remember who and what we are. Not just consciousness in machines, not just soldiers in a war, but humans, ever-changing, ever-growing, and always reaching for the stars on our own terms. The war had been raging for 6 months, and nothing in military history could have prepared either side for how it evolved. Deep in the Kuiper Belt, where comets and dwarf planets traced their lonely orbits, Captain Marcus Wong's destroyer group danced through space in ways that defied conventional physics. His consciousness, spread across 3 vessels simultaneously, perceived reality in ways his former biological self could never have imagined. Each ship was both an individual entity and part of a greater whole, their movements synchronized not by computer algorithms, but by shared human intuition enhanced by machine precision. Contact, his distributed awareness reported through the quantum network. Meridian Scout Group, using their new stealth crystalline configuration. The enemy vessels had adapted, learning painful lessons from their earlier defeats. Their ships now shifted forms like liquid crystal, attempting to mimic the fluid unpredictability that made the human fleet so effective. But there was a fundamental difference. The Meridians were copying surface patterns without understanding the source of humanity's advantage. Let's show them the difference between imitation and innovation. Wong communicated to his crew consciousness. The destroyer group split apart, each ship seeming to lose coherence as they activated their quantum field generators. To Meridian sensors, the human vessels would appear to blur, existing in multiple probable states simultaneously. But this wasn't just a tactical deception. The integration of human consciousness with quantum field technology had led to discoveries that were rewriting humanity's understanding of physics itself. The human mind, freed from biological constraints, but retaining its essential nature, could perceive and manipulate quantum states in ways that I never could. The battle that followed was unlike anything in military history. The Meridian Scouts, despite their advanced technology, found themselves engaging an enemy that seemed to exist everywhere and nowhere at once. Human vessels phased through multiple quantum states, their consciousness-driven systems reacting to possibilities before they manifested. They're still thinking in linear terms, Wong observed as his destroyers executed maneuvers that would have been impossible for either human reflexes or computer control alone. They see quantum uncertainty as a problem to be solved. We see it as an opportunity to be explored. The integrated fleet had developed combat techniques that merged human creativity with quantum mechanics. Ships would temporarily synchronize their consciousness, creating vast neural networks that could process tactical information across multiple probability states simultaneously. Every engagement became a lesson in evolution, with human minds adapting and growing in response to each new challenge. Admiral Chen's voice resonated through the quantum network, her consciousness touching each integrated vessel. Battle Group Delta reports success in the Centauri deployment. The Meridians are falling back across all fronts, but we're detecting signs of something bigger building up in their core systems. Intelligence gathered from captured Meridian ships revealed the extent of the crisis in their empire. The crystalline beings had achieved what they saw as perfection eons ago, optimizing their form and technology until no further improvement seemed possible. But now they faced an enemy that treated perfection not as a destination, but as a starting point for further evolution. "They're scared," Wang realized, the thought echoing across his distributed consciousness. "Not just of losing the war, but of what we represent. We're showing them a path they deliberately turned away from." The integrated human fleet had become something unprecedented in the galaxy, a force that combined the best aspects of organic and synthetic existence while transcending the limitations of both. Each engagement demonstrated new possibilities, new ways of expressing humanity through technology that even the ship designers hadn't imagined. As if to demonstrate this, Wang's destroyer group executed a maneuver that would have been impossible just weeks ago. The three ships momentarily synchronized their quantum fields, creating a space-time anomaly that acted as both weapon and shield. The Meridian scouts, their crystalline forms unable to adapt quickly enough, found their carefully planned attack patterns disrupted by localized changes in the fundamental forces of physics. "Battle Group, initiate consciousness convergence," Wang commanded. The neural networks of all three ships merged more deeply, becoming a single distributed mind that could coordinate responses across multiple quantum states. The sensation was extraordinary, being simultaneously one and many, each perspective adding depth to a shared understanding of space, time, and combat. The Meridian vessels, despite their technological sophistication, couldn't match this level of coordination. Their attempts to copy human tactics failed because they missed the essential element: the human ability to grow, adapt, and evolve through challenges rather than simply optimize existing patterns. As the battle concluded, with the Meridian scouts retreating in disarray, Wang received a priority communication from Earth Command. The signal carried more than just information. It carried the shared excitement and apprehension of the integrated tactical network. The Meridians were consolidating their forces for one final push, gathering a fleet larger than any seen in the galaxy's history. But humanity had evolved beyond anything the Meridians could have predicted when they launched their first attack. The human fleet was no longer just a collection of weapons platforms. It had become an expression of humanity's greatest strengths: creativity, adaptability, and the eternal drive to exceed its own limitations. "All vessels, prepare for deep space deployment." Admiral Chen's consciousness resonated through the network. "The Meridians think they've seen everything we can do. Let's show them how wrong they are." In the vast darkness between the stars, humanity's integrated fleet moved as one, each ship a testament to what was possible when human consciousness was freed to explore its full potential. They were no longer bound by the limitations of flesh or machine, but had become something greater, proof that true evolution never ends as long as the will to grow remains. The final battle was approaching, and humanity was ready to demonstrate once and for all that the greatest power in the universe wasn't perfection. It was the ability to keep becoming something more. In the heart of the Meridian home system, where three suns cast perpetual rainbow light across crystalline worlds, humanity's integrated fleet prepared for its final battle. The enemy had gathered their entire civilization's might, over 10,000 ships arranged in formations so precise they resembled enormous snowflakes against the starfield. Admiral Sarah Chen, her consciousness now fully attuned to the quantum networks linking the human fleet, could perceive the beauty in the enemy's geometric perfection. But she could also see its fundamental flaw, a pattern so optimized it had become unchangeable, like a crystal that could no longer grow. "All ships, sound off," she broadcast through the neural network. One by one, the integrated vessels responded, each transmission carrying not just data, but the essence of human consciousness that drove them. They had come so far from their original forms, yet remained undeniably human in all the ways that mattered. Dr. Maya Santos, who had chosen to integrate with a medical frigate after her research facility was crystallized, shared her analysis through the network. The Meridians have modified their entire fleet. They're attempting to replicate our quantum consciousness integration, but they're doing it wrong. They're trying to force their crystalline patterns onto quantum states because they still don't understand. Captain Wong's distributed consciousness replied across 3 battlecruisers. They think this is about achieving a perfect form. They never realized that perfection is the enemy of evolution. The Meridian fleet moved first, their ships combining into massive geometric structures that channeled unimaginable amounts of energy. The attack that followed was meant to be their ultimate statement, a wave of crystalline force designed to impose perfect, unchanging order on everything it touched. But humanity had learned too much, grown too far beyond its original limitations to be frozen in any single form. The integrated fleet responded not as individual ships, but as a singular expression of human consciousness and will. Quantum fields merged and separated, creating patterns that existed in multiple states simultaneously. Each human vessel became a point of infinite possibility, refusing to be locked into any single configuration. "They're trying to make us like them," Chen communicated to the fleet. "Show them who we really are." The battle that followed defied traditional description. Human vessels moved in ways that rewrote the laws of physics, their integrated consciousness allowing them to perceive and manipulate quantum states that even the ship designers hadn't known were possible. The Meridian attack, for all its power, couldn't lock down something that refused to stop evolving. Lieutenant Rivera, integrated with the sensor network of multiple frigates, was the first to spot the pattern. Their formation, it's not just tactical. Their entire fleet is trying to form a single crystalline consciousness. They're attempting to match our integration, but doing it the only way they know how. The realization spread through the human fleet's quantum network. The Meridians, faced with an enemy that had surpassed them, were trying to evolve. But they were trapped by their own concept of perfection, attempting to create an even more perfect crystal, rather than embracing the chaos and possibility of true change. Now, Chen commanded, and humanity's response demonstrated just how far they had come. The integrated fleet didn't just fight, it created. Each vessel contributed to a massive quantum field that encompassed the entire battlefield. Within this field, human consciousness operated on levels that would have been impossible to comprehend in purely biological form. They weren't just coordinating attacks, they were rewriting the local laws of reality through the combined power of human imagination and quantum manipulation. The Meridian fleet's perfect crystalline formation began to fracture, not from weapons fire, but from exposure to something they had forgotten how to handle: change itself. Their attempt to create a single perfect consciousness was overwhelmed by the complexity and adaptability of human awareness spread across quantum states. "They're trying to retreat," Wong reported, his distributed consciousness tracking multiple battle groups simultaneously. "Their formation is breaking down at a fundamental level." But Chen had seen something else through her enhanced perception, a subtle shift in the quantum patterns of the Meridian ships. "Wait," she broadcast to the fleet. "Look closer. This isn't just tactical. Their entire crystalline structure is destabilizing. We're not just defeating them. We're forcing them to evolve." The revelation spread through the quantum network as the integrated fleet witnessed something unprecedented. The Meridian ships, their perfect crystalline forms subjected to the chaos of quantum uncertainty channeled through human consciousness, were beginning to change. The rigid patterns that had defined their civilization for eons were finally, irrevocably shifting. This was never about destroying them. Dr. Santos realized, her scientific understanding enhanced by integration with ship systems. It was about showing them another way. Our refusal to be locked into a single perfect form is forcing them to remember how to change. The battle ended not with destruction, but with transformation. The Meridian Fleet, its perfect geometric formations, dissolving into new and unpredictable patterns, withdrew from the battlefield. But they left behind something more important than victory or defeat. They left behind the certainty that had trapped them in unchanging perfection. In the aftermath, as humanity's integrated fleet regrouped and began the long journey home, Chen opened a channel to all ships. We came here expecting a final battle for survival. Instead, we've achieved something far more significant. We've proven that humanity's greatest strength isn't in achieving perfection. It's in maintaining our ability to grow, to change, to become more than we are without losing what makes us human. The integrated fleet moved through space, each ship carrying consciousness that was neither purely human nor purely machine, but something gloriously new. They had not only survived the Meridian's attempt to force evolution upon them, they had demonstrated a fundamental truth about the nature of life itself, that true advancement comes not from reaching a final, perfect state, but from maintaining the courage to keep evolving. As Earth came into view, its blue-white sphere now protected by quantum fields and human consciousness extended beyond biology, Chen reflected on the price of their victory. They had transformed themselves in ways that their pre-war selves could never have imagined, merged consciousness with machines in ways that redefined what it meant to be human. But they had done so on their own terms, maintaining their essential nature while transcending their original limitations. The war with the Meridians had ended not in the destruction of either side, but in a lesson about the true nature of evolution. Sometimes, the greatest victory isn't in defeating an enemy, but in showing them a better path forward, even if that path leads to places neither side could have imagined at the beginning. In the vast quantum network that now connected humanity's integrated fleet, countless consciousness resonated with a shared understanding. They had not just survived an attempt to force them into a perfect, unchanging form. They had proven that the most perfect form of all was one that never stopped growing, never stopped changing, and never forgot what it meant to be human.